It's an LBAF, right? Look below and fail. Of the key spot, which, as we described in the Saturday update video, was 739.65. Are we just going to support above that and keep things choppy, neutral, not really doing it, but not really breaking it, right? That's the alternative outcome there. So it's a very neutral stance from me out of this morning's open. It's not overly bearish, but it's not overly bullish. It probably still leans a little bit more bearish in my view, given the higher time frame ideas and basically pressure from the Nasdaq. Right? Dexter trades futures with the Canadian $2. Moved time zones, but now I'm back 3 hours. Not easy. Yeesh. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Going the wrong way 3 hours makes it a little tough. It's an early day. It's an early start to the day when you got to wake up West Coast time and get the job done. So I hope it gets easier. I suppose. I hope it slowly but surely get used to the routine. But yeah, something like 6:30, 6 o'clock wake up time Eastern. That's it's kind of a sweet spot that I've found in my own life. I know some people are early birds, some people are just regular, I guess. Some people are late. You just got to find what works. But boy, oh boy, I couldn't really imagine the 4:30 or 4 a.m. wake up. That's a little rough. All the prep and whatnot. Anyway, Spider's Cash ETF 852 done. I think we keep it very simple here and we just say very open-minded back inside this chop zone. Very much so open-minded to a fade. What happens in here? Do buyers step up, keep us neutral? If we fail back into range, do we get down to the bottom end of the range, aka the 739.65 spot? And do we find buyers there? If the market rallies and holds, I think it's chop before FOMC. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a breakout, but just to put it on, because why not? That would be your most bullish situation there, a reclaim of 749. To me, it looks like an opportunity for highs, and a lower high, basically right off the rip here, kick off the week, or at least, lower high and stay neutral in the range. All right. That's it. That's the Spider's Cash ETF. Let's jump on over to the NQ futures. Nasty NASDAQ. What do we have going on over here from a 4-hour perspective? Take a peek at the NQs, and I think, immediately you can just kind of see, once again, this is not a secret. Everybody knows this, but you can just see the immediate relative weakness over here on the NQ, right? Obviously lower highs, and I mean, just check out where the last lower high was. It wasn't even at the trend line. It was below the trend line. So that's pretty aggressive. You do something that looks like that, you can see your little channel. We're bouncing off the channel low, so could we go to the midpoint? Could we close this overhead gap and still set a lower high? Absolutely. Absolutely. Is there still overhead supply from this perspective? If you put a box around this price action in here, yes, for sure. So, I'm not really jumping for joy trying to get involved on NQ longs, or I should say, I'm not jumping for joy about a bullish broad market if the NQ trend is just down, right? So sure, call it a look below and fail all you'd like on the ES futures. You could call for that all you'd like. But if the NQ is still in this downtrend, if we're underneath the overhead supply, then how bullish can I really be? Probably not all that bullish, right? This level is the main level to watch if there is going to be a little bit of a counter trend rotation, right? If you're going to get some kind of a reclaim and rally, you just got to be over the overnight high, basically. So let's just keep moving through the time frames. Oops, that's straight to the 15. Let's go to the hourly first. Now let's see what we got here. I mean, the hourly trend is still certainly down, right? You've got highs, you've got lower highs, you got some room for lower highs here. You've got lows, you've got lower lows, you've got lower lows, right? So the hourly trend is down. This, maybe you could just call that bear flag, really, on the hourly. Nice break here. And then, is this an inverted head and shoulders becomes the next question. Well, this is what we just talked about on the 4-hour, right? If there's going to be a reclaim of this subtle low and high set from in here, right? That's this day's pullback low, resistance, 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 resistance. Very straightforward. Very, very straightforward, right? Consolidation, brigade bolt, maybe we close the gap. That's the upside trade for the NQ. And if that happens, right, will the ES look good? Of course it will. Of course the ES will look good if the NQ is brigade bolting over that 28,765 spot. 765 right here, by the way. What? 28. Wow. Wow, what, how did that happen? There we go, 765. I'm thinking to myself, what number did I get wrong? Apparently the last one. 765. Brigade bolt over the neckline of the inverted head and shoulders. Sure. And that also means if we pull back and can support here, does the inverted head and shoulders continue to build? The answer is yes. Now, does that hourly trend reversal get me all jazzed up about a huge raging bull market in the overall marketplace? No, not really. It's like hourly inverted head and shoulders in service to a 4-hour lower high, right? Until proven otherwise. So that's that. And I think for that reason, we just go to the 15, keep getting granular here, and we just talk about it from this perspective, right? Very simple stuff, very straightforward stuff, I would say. The levels are very well defined on the hourly chart. I will leave it exactly like this for today's session. The 3.5 questions show us a very small gap up. The gap rules tell us to probably focus more so on the actual resolution of the prior day's high, right? We don't really want to fade this. There's no risk reward in there for a fade short. And instead, it is simply about consolidation over previous day high. Brigade bolt does that. Let me actually draw this in as a path. Do some simplified pathing here. Simplified pathing. There we go. All right, here it is. Always start with the most extremes, right? You do this. Great, you close the gap. That's bullish. You do this. That's bullish. If this fails, back into range. That's where the bears attack, and we come into here. The market goes opening drive to the downside. That's fine. In here, I would start looking for buyers to step up. Consolidation, brigade bolt here, consolidation, and then eventually, something there. Okay, let's just drop in the left, the head, and this would be your, say, 1 hour, right. Let's just...
X-Trend speed trading app. Install it now.
This is